All right, here we go. So on Wednesday, the Fed slashed interest rates by half a percentage point. And yesterday, it was all party. The Dow hit 42,000 new milestone. The S&P 500 breaks above 4,700. Both make new record highs. But then today, kind of a different story. So we need to talk about this. Also, FedEx reported earnings yesterday after the bell. And we have some news from Nike. So, a lot to talk about today. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And today is Friday, September 20th. And in this show, we're going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. So, Mark, yesterday, party mode activated.
Absolutely, Marcus. And you've said it best. There's always three reactions to that Fed statement. There's the statement itself, then there's the press release reaction, and then there's the next day's reaction. And yesterday we got some action.
Yeah, so here we see the first reaction was, yay, we got a present from Santa Powell, and we got our half percentage point. So at first, markets rallied 1%. Then on Wednesday, we had a second reaction to the downside. Yesterday, a third reaction to the upside. And yeah, this is where the Dow broke above 42,000, making new all-time highs. The S&P above 5,700, making new all-time highs. And then today, a little bit of a pullback. And looking at the heat map, I mean, it's pretty mixed. It's all across the board. I mean, yesterday, Nvidia and gang, I mean, the technology stocks were just rallying and partying. Today, a little bit of a pullback here.
Yeah, and I mean there is some more red there. You said it's a little mixed. I'd say a little bit heavy on the red side, but we see that there's still some green. Apple out of the Magnificent Seven, higher for the day.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at the indices, so we're down in the S&P 0.5% right now. We are down in the Dow 0.23%. And in the NASDAQ right now, down 0.7%. All major indices right now trading at, well, not the Dow, but the S&P and the NASDAQ, trading at session lows. And I mean, this is where I want to see where we are for the week. And I mean, the NASDAQ still up 1.2% for the week. The S&P up 1% for the week. The Dow up 1.3% for the week. I'm a little bit surprised by this. Because I thought that we were up more for the week.
Yeah, interesting with the pullback. Now the Russell 2000 actually leading the way, up 2.6% with a 7-day win streak.
Yeah. 7-day win streak. However, we also see that volatility is getting sucked out of the market, so there's no fear. I think today it's just a little bit of profit taking. And I mean, it sounds weird when we say profit taking, but this is where I was a little bit surprised that we are only up 1% for the week, because it looks more dramatic. It feels more dramatic after what happened this week.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we are nothing on the economic calendar. So if you look at our calendar, the economic calendar, nothing on it today, but we did have a few earnings. And this is where FedEx yesterday, after the bell, and oh my gosh, traders do not like what FedEx had to say. FedEx right now down 15% after reporting earnings.
Wow. Yeah, this wasn't what investors wanted to hear. They pulled back after trimming their full year earnings outlook and cutting guidance there. So they had an earnings miss, they had a revenue miss, and they also cut their outlook.
Yeah,
So
for the fourth quarter and for all of 2025. They said, we're looking ahead of a rough 2025. And this is where, yeah, I mean, traders and investors not liking that at all. On the other hand, Nike reported something. Let's talk about this, because Nike up 6% and being up much more this morning, as much as 8%, but right now still hanging in there with up 6% for the day.
yep. pulling back a bit, but still up nicely. This comes after news that that Nike's CEO is going to be retiring,
Yes, and the CEO
stepping
that
down,
was
stepping
retired, they're
down.
dragging him back out of retirement and saying, "Okay, tag, you're it." And I mean, it seems that traders like that idea. So a new CEO doesn't always mean that the stock is moving higher. But recently, I mean, what is the most recent example of a new CEO coming in and everybody getting super excited, Mark? Let me help you.
Tim Cook.
Starbucks.
Oh,
Come on.
okay.
I mean, Starbucks announced also a
I'm just
new
making stuff
CEO,
up.
and after they announced the new CEO, jumping from 76 to now 96, this was the most recent example, and this just happened. When was it? Towards end of August, kind of like a month ago. So again, it's not always good news when a CEO gets ousted because then the question is, okay, what is the new direction? However, since for Starbucks, the CEO was previously CEO of Chipotle, and here for Nike, the new CEO previously was active at Nike, and I think he was overseeing retail sales or something like this, and did a phenomenal job there, obviously.
Yeah, I know that Starbucks is a perfect example, and you said it correctly, but I did not. Just to clarify, the current CEO is stepping down on October 13th, and the a Nike veteran who had been with the company for 32 years before retiring is going to take over there.
Yeah. So these are the main news in the stock market, and looking at the commodities. I mean, gold. Look at this. I mean, we have been talking about gold in a while, but now, I mean, above $2,600, and it felt like just a few days ago that we talked about, oh my gosh, gold is above $2,500, but now 2,641, making new all-time highs in gold.
You know, this is interesting, and sometimes the correlations or how things are supposed to move and when they move and why can get a little bit messy. It's sloppy and tricky because, in theory, gold could be an inflation hedge, and there could be some demand when you have higher inflation, and you would think that with inflation coming down, that gold could be coming down as well. But gold making record highs. Part of this is because the dollar actually has been dropping with the idea that rates will get cut by the Fed, which they did. And so, with a weaker dollar, gold goes up.
There you go. All right, let's also take a look at crude oil because we haven't looked at crude oil in a while. And yes, we are coming off the lows that we made recently. We are going back into the range between 70 and 84, right now trading at 71.20. So crude oil making a comeback here.
Yeah, I'd love to see a little more follow through there, but yeah, I'll take it and
Yeah.
follow through to help my BP and Halliburton position.
All right, let's hop over and talk about our existing positions. And we start with our WTF win the fear positions. And we did have a new signal today. The new signal today, PM Philip Morris. And what did you do? Did you take it?
I flipped a coin. No, I took it.
Me too. According to my plan, took it. So we entered at 119.50. Right now, slightly up at 119.83. So a good start here. Kind of dodging the trend today. So Philip Morris up, even though almost flat, 0.08%. When the markets are down 0.5 and 0.7%. And then we have our two open signal, CL, Colgard, Palmolive, Palmolive.
Got the second part right, but where's the R in Colgate?
What do you mean?
Well, you said Colgart.
Oh, Colgate. Yeah, okay. Colgate. It's like tomato. I mean, whatever. Okay, ticker symbol CL. So
They mark it.
yesterday moved lower, so we are below our entry right now. Let's see, we are 1.8% below our entry. I'm not concerned about this. So right now, Also, for today, it seems that ducking the trend up 0.36%, even though everything else seems to be down. So nothing for us to do there. And then we have MO, Altria Group. And here we entered at 50.50. Right now it's trading at 50.12. So slightly down from our entry today, down 0.2%.
Yep, hanging in there and looking for an exit.
All right. So you brought up BP. Let's start there with our wheel positions. BP today a little bit lower.
Yeah, taking a little breather there after a nice little rally off of those lows around $31 a share. So, yeah, I mean, this can happen. Down 0.6% with crude oil flat and waiting to sell calls for me.
Yeah. So hopping over to Halliburton, very similar here. Halliburton down 0.7%. Had a great run over the last few days. Right now, hanging in there, down 0.7%. Still waiting to sell calls. Nothing for us to do just yet.
Yep.
And then our little buddy CSIQ, after the excitement of the last 2 days, it's taking a breather today, down 3.7% right now, trading at session lows. Just slipped below 14 again after touching and trading above 15 just 2 days ago. So, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's always gonna test your patience.
It definitely
So,
does. It definitely does. So, come on, little buddy, move up above 15 again. We said yesterday we are okay with it taking a quick breather after being up 35% here. But yeah, it doesn't need to take that much of a breather. I mean, come on, keep running, keep running. All right, Coles, that is one that I'm in today, also down 1.2%. So we're moving towards the lower range here. Still trading well above. No, my cost. Sorry, my cost base is 21.50. My break even. I thought my break even was lower, but 20.37 right now, trading at 18.37, 18.39. So need to move here a little bit higher. So today, I mean, it's kind of an odd day, don't you think, Mark? I mean, I said Apple up a few that we saw earlier, Colgate up, and what else did we have up? So a few up, but mainly overall down, and Coles is just participating in the broad market weakness right now.
yep.
Merck, on the other hand, this is again one that is slightly up, even though it is just 0.01%. But Merck not participating in the downturn in the market today, trading at 117, got assigned at 120. Not being able to sell calls right now, so I have to wait until it pushes a bit higher, but very happy where this position stands.
That works.
And then UPS. I mean, seriously, UPS, I mean, come on. UPS has been finally breaking out of the range that it has been in between 124 and 132. Finally touching 134. And today, boom, dead smack back into this range at trading at 127, down 3.8%.
Yeah, I mean, come on, UPS. Even the word up is in your ticker symbol. You're supposed to go up. But this can easily be explained because you just wrote it there. Blame FedEx with the two. Of course, there isn't going to be the exact same business model and numbers. There can be sympathy moves that are positive on a positive reaction to earnings or negative on a negative reaction. And this is where there are some concerns about what UPS has to say when their earnings come around and if they will follow the same pattern that FedEx has
Right. Now,
demonstrated.
earnings for UPS coming out on October 24th. So we are still 34 days away. It's quite,
Yeah.
but if FedEx says, hey, we are seeing weaker demand, here's what we see. I mean, that's where basically FedEx say, that's what we see overall, not specific to FedEx. That's what we see in the integrated freights and logistics sector here. And that's why UPS down 3.7%. Kind of. I mean, FedEx being down, what was it, 15%? I mean, this for a sympathy move definitely contained because everybody says, okay, what is true for FedEx does not necessarily have to be true for UPS. They might see something else there, but I guess we have to wait for earnings. And we're back to thinking about flying a possible rescue mission here if we
Sure.
can get it at 124, 2125. I mean, I thought that we had missed it and that now we just make marching higher. So let's just put a few arrows there or just one huge, big, fat arrow so that UPS, well, this way UPS doesn't know anything what to do. So
Yeah,
let's do this
that's
again,
just a
right? I mean, so right here, that's where we want to go. This is much better. All right. But yeah, today down with a FedEx move. All right.
you know, and the interesting thing, Marcus, last earnings, FedEx finished higher by 15.5% on their
Right.
earnings report, and now they're down 15.3%
Ha.
on their earnings report. That's
Look at
kind of
that. That is
interesting.
interesting. All right. So we'll take a look at the markets here in a moment. And it is this time in the show where we entertain you with some really bad dad jokes. So,
Right.
Mark, what do you got for us today?
Marcus, have you ever tried to eat a clock?
No.
It's very time consuming.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Now, did you hear about the chameleon that couldn't change colors?
I did not.
It had a reptile dysfunction. All right. With that said, back to the markets and look at this right now. The S&P 500 trading at session lows, down 0.7%. The Nasdaq trading at session lows, down 1%. The Dow trading almost at session lows, 0.3%. The Russell trading at session lows at down 1%. And the VIX right now shooting up a little bit, up for the day after being down. So what do you think is happening here, and what do you think will happen until the end of the day?
Marcus, we're at session lows, and I don't think that it would be too surprising to see a little more downside. Just some profit taking going into the weekend. We're seeing some consumer defensive strength, and yesterday it was weakness, and so I think just a little uncertainty going into the weekend or profit taking. But I don't think we're going to see this turn into something big. Maybe another 0.2% lower.
Yeah, not on this news, and I agree. I mean, the Nasdaq right now is down almost 1%. I think that the Nasdaq will close lower around 1%. We also see that the S&P right now is down 0.6%. I think that for the remainder of the day, we'll probably diddle along, trying to make an attempt to push higher, but this will not turn into a positive day. So I think that overall, we will stay positive for the week, but negative for the day.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So this is what's going on in the markets. And if you enjoyed today's show and this week's show, then do us a favor and give us a like. We really appreciate all of the likes. If you feel that this was cool stuff worth sharing, there's a share button right underneath. And then after the show is over, leave us a comment and let us know who did tell the better dad joke today. Now, with that said, have a great weekend and we'll see you again on Monday morning.
Happy trading, everybody.